Hello, this is Professor Kim Nelson with the Jewelry Design Department at the Fashion Institute of Technology. Another tutorial. This one continuing on our ring design process tutorial series covering general design flow on a project using both 2D and 3D software. Here's the maquette that I made in our last tutorial. I want to export the lines for this in actual size. To do that, I'm going to create a dummy sphere that I can use to get accurate measurements from. I'm going to make it 10 millimeters in diameter at 0. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to rotate this ring to where it gives me what I feel is the best effect for this design. I'll say there. I like to save the view when I do this. So I go to Set View, Named Views, Save, and I give it a name. That way if I make a mistake and shift it, I can get it right back to where it was. I'm going to select everything here. Dimension, make 2D drawing, current view, and there are my lines. I'm going to Control G to group those together. Alright, and I'm going to drag a selection window again. I do not want to draw these curves, so I'll click on them. Since they were grouped, it's very easy for me to just click on them. Now I could also just rotate this to a better view, drag a window around this, but my problem is that now it's not the same view, which is why we have saved the view, set view 34, and that'll be the exact same view I drew before. Make 2D drawing. Hang on, before I do that though, I want to draw this one without the sphere. So I have one drawing with the sphere, another drawing without it. Make 2D drawing, current view, fine. And I will Control G that as well. Okay. Turning off my maquette, go into my top view. I'm going to draw a reference circle 10 millimeters in the center. So circle, center radius, center of circle is 0, diameter, make sure it is diameter, 10. So the circle here should be the same as this circle here. Now normally what I do, guys, when I do this is I can use a quadrant because all circles have quadrants. So normally I would pick 2 quadrants from this circle and orient it. Remember we discussed Orient command under the transform menu. Orient 2 points allows you to move, rotate, scale simultaneously your geometry. Unfortunately, the view I chose of this doesn't let you see very much of the 10 millimeter circle. But we're going to be okay. We're going to set our snaps to center and quad. So, transform, Orient 2 points. Reference point 1, center, quad. I do want it to scale, so scale equals 3D. I do not want to copy, so I'm going to leave that the way it is. Reference point 1, center, quad. And you can see that brought that over the exact same size. I'm going to redo that just so you get to see it again. I'm going to pick the one that has the sphere. The easiest way to do that is to click the edge of the sphere in the drawing, and you've got it. I'm going to transform, not scale, Orient 2 points, reference point 1 would be center snap for this circle, which means I touch the edge of the circle until I get that CEN flag. Quad is my second point, and then reference point 1 here, center and quad. And since I know this circle was 10 millimeters because I drew it that way, I know that the circle represented by the sphere is also 10 millimeters, which means this drawing is now actual size. I need to get this drawing the same size as this drawing without the sphere in it, because we don't want the sphere in our final artwork. So to do that, I'm going to do the same thing, orient 2 points. Now I can pick any 2 points that the drawings share in common. If I have a stone, I will often pick that as a reference, but I can pick anything. For example, I could pick the end of this opening and the other end of this opening as my reference 1, reference 2, and then end and end for target 1 and 2. If you do it properly, the drawings will line up exactly. Click the one with the sphere and delete it. I now have this drawing actual size. Turn off my grid, double check it, make sure that the drawing looks like it came through well, and it does. Okay, so I have this, and I will now export this, but before I do, I'm going to surround it with the red square like I always do with my exports from Rhino, so that when I take it into a 2D graphics program I don't end up getting artifacts around the edge of my image. So make the square center around 0, pull it out, that's fine. Select all of this, File, Export Selected, Adobe Illustrator, Format, and save. And I want to preserve model scale, and I want 1 millimeter to equal 1 millimeter RGB, because I'm on a Windows system. Okay, it's gone. Alright, I'm going to save this file in Rhino, and I can close it out. I'm going to go to that file on my drive, and I'm looking for Adobe Illustrator artwork, ring process, double click on it, and it will open Illustrator for me. Select a window that I can do that with Control A as well. Control G to group it, or I could go to Object and come down here and have grouped it there. Click anywhere on the image, pull it in, change the stroke weight to 0.33, enter. Leave that selected and export it. I want it to go out as a JPEG to the same location, and that is fine. I don't want it to be confused with my background bitmap, so I will call it Illustrator out or AI out, and export. Pay attention carefully to the options. You want RGB. You want quality set all the way up to 10 maximum. You want the compression method to be baseline, standard. You want resolution to be high. You have screen, medium, high. We want high, 300 ppi in parentheses. We want anti-aliasing to be the super sampling option. Okay, and hit OK. And it's gone. Okay, so I have now processed the image and taken it out of Illustrator. I don't need to save that. Going to come into Painter, eventually. Okay, I have a little problem in that I have a 2-monitor setup. last time I did this, I had Illustrator on the other monitor, Painter, so I'm going to have to be able to reach down and grab that. And that'll bring it back up. Turn off that second monitor, which I hope does not affect our recording. And bring my information in here. So I'm going to bring in my original file. It's right here. And I'm going to open the import or the export file from Adobe Illustrator. Control A to select everything. Control X to cut everything. Control W to clear the canvas. No. And Control V to paste. Okay. There's my image in Painter. Now I'm going to process this Adobe Illustrator file the way I always do. I'm going to come over here, Edit, Transform, Rotate, 11 degrees. Okay. It goes into its low resolution state. Going to Edit, Transform, Commit, Transform, and it takes it back into its high resolution state. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the other direction. Transform, Rotate, -11, and Edit, Transform, Commit, Transform. Okay, and that gives me that softly fuzzed version that I'm looking for. Drag a selection window around the ring. Control I to invert that selection so that it selects everything but the ring. Control X will clear that remaining layer out of the way. And now I have my ring ready to be drawn upon in Painter. And that will be the end of this tutorial. The next tutorial will cover me actually working on the ring project in Painter. Oh, before I go, I just want to check because people have asked. Whether or not they can find a version of Illustrator online that they can use. So I've told people just to look up Illustrator 9. I know that version of Illustrator was pre-Creative Suite. So here's one here. Here's another. I can't recommend any of these or unrecommend any of these. But that's the sort of places you can go, and you can generally find it. Okay, so even older versions are fine. It doesn't matter. All we're looking for is a rasterizing software, something that we can take a vector curve and turn it into a raster image. For that matter, you could also look up CorelDRAW. Well, there's a CorelDRAW 9 free download, and you could look at that. Once again, CorelDRAW would also make it easy for you to rasterize. Freehand 7 or Freehand. This is an old version of Freehand. Looks like it's at the same, kinds of websites. Okay, any of those, Freehand, CorelDRAW, Illustrator, any one of those will rasterize a vector file out of Illustrator. Okay, so anyway, that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching.